Imagine knowing what someone's truly thinking, even when their words tell a different story. Imagine seeing beyond the smile, past the bravado, and right into the heart of who they are. Most of us are taught to trust what people say. Words are our go-to. But what if words are just the tip of the iceberg? What if the real truth is constantly leaking out in ways you haven't been taught to read yet? Every person you meet leaves behind a trail of clues. Not in what they say, but in what they do, how they react, and what they avoid. These aren't complex codes, they're everyday human behaviors, visible to anyone who knows how to look. And once you learn to see them, you can't unsee them. It's like discovering a hidden language everyone speaks, but very few understand. In this video, we're diving deep into Nietzsche's 18 profound truths about human nature. These aren't just surface-level tips, they're a complete breakdown, divided into 3 powerful parts, each building on the last. If you skip ahead, you'll lose the depth that makes this truly transformative. So, stay with me, because by the end of all 3 parts, you won't just understand others in ways you never thought possible, you'll understand yourself like never before. 2. Clear premise or central conflict. From the moment we're young, society trains us to trust spoken words, to value clear communication. Yet, as the philosopher Nietzsche warned, we shouldn't be fooled by language. Why? Because people often don't speak from a place of pure truth. They speak from survival, from ego, from fear. Think about it. The surface of someone's personality isn't their true self, it's their armor. It's the carefully constructed persona they present to the world to navigate its complexities. The person who appears overly kind might not be kind at all, they might be absolutely terrified of rejection. The one who projects an image of unwavering strength might actually be crumbling underneath, desperately hoping no one notices. What's most deceptive is that most people don't even realize they are doing this. They are, in a sense, actors in a play they didn't write. Their smiles, their opinions, their tone, all of it is shaped by what kept them safe, what got them accepted, what allowed them to survive. This isn't about intentional deception. It's about self-preservation. Most people aren't just hiding from you, they are hiding from themselves. Nietzsche famously said, "Every profound spirit needs a mask." He didn't mean this as an insult. He meant it as a crucial warning: don't confuse the mask with the person underneath. The central conflict here is our inherent human tendency to wear these masks for survival, and the profound challenge of seeing beyond them to the genuine individual. 3. Relatable or compelling characters. In this journey, you are the central character. You are the observer, the learner. These 18 truths will equip you with a new lens through which to view humanity. Instead of seeing a world of baffling, inconsistent individuals, you'll begin to see patterns, motivations, and underlying fears that explain seemingly complex behaviors. You'll encounter archetypes we all recognize: the overly confident boss, the perpetually cheerful friend, the person who always criticizes others. By understanding the universal human drive for self-protection and the subtle ways truth leaks out, you'll develop a profound empathy. These aren't lessons in manipulation or judgment, they are lessons in deep human understanding. The goal isn't to expose flaws, but to reveal the shared vulnerabilities that connect us all. You'll learn to look for the cracks in the mask, the moments when the true person shines through, often unconsciously. This skill will make you not just a better reader of people, but a more compassionate, less easily fooled individual. You'll become someone who can see the frightened child behind the angry adult, the hidden insecurity behind the loudest boast. And that, in itself, is a profound character arc. 4. Structure, beginning, middle, end. Our journey into these truths is carefully structured to maximize your understanding. Part 1. The cracks in the mask. We'll start by exploring the initial signs that someone's public persona is not their complete story. You'll learn to spot the subtle tells, the moments of tension, the automatic criticisms, the revealing silences. This section lays the groundwork, teaching you where to look for the truth that people unknowingly leak. We'll cover the first 6 profound psychological truths, focusing on those immediate, observable indicators. Part 1. The cracks in the mask. Here's what no one tells you. People leak the truth all the time. Not in their carefully chosen words, but in the small cracks, the fleeting moments, the way they look away, the laugh that lasts too long, the quick change of subject when a conversation gets too personal. These aren't mistakes, they are genuine revelations. Truth 1. Everyone wears a mask to survive, not because they are fake, but because they are scared. To navigate society, people create a version of themselves they hope will be accepted. These masks aren't perfect. They slip. The first sign of truth is tension. Watch for what makes someone visibly uncomfortable. That's where the real person begins to show. It's a subtle flinch, a tightened jaw, a quick glance away. That discomfort signals a boundary, a place where their mask is stretched thin. Truth 2. What someone hates in others reveals what they are hiding in themselves. This is one of Nietzsche's sharpest insights: projection. When someone constantly mocks arrogance, they are often insecure about their own self-worth. When someone can't stop pointing out dishonesty in others, they're usually hiding a truth they haven't faced within themselves. We tend to despise in others what we're afraid to admit about ourselves. So, when you want to read someone, don't just look at what they admire. Look at what they criticize, and more importantly, why. The intensity of their criticism often mirrors the intensity of their own hidden struggle. Truth 3. Silence reveals more than words. Nietzsche didn't believe truth came from talking. In fact, he saw language as a tool of the herd, often used to avoid confronting reality. When someone pauses before answering, when they dodge certain topics, when they give short, rehearsed replies to deep questions, that silence is louder than any speech. A person avoiding vulnerability is revealing everything about what they fear. The gaps in their conversation are often more informative than the content. Truth 4. Excessive virtue is often disguised vanity. Be wary of the person who loudly proclaims their purity, the one always correcting others, always preaching. Nietzsche called this the will to power in disguise. Sometimes, morality becomes a mask for superiority. The louder the virtue signal, the more likely there's something being hidden behind it. Real goodness doesn't need applause, it simply is. It operates quietly, without demanding recognition. Truth 5. People don't lie to you first, they lie to themselves. This one changes everything. The lies you hear from people, "I'm fine, I'm over it, I don't care," aren't usually designed to hurt you. They're lies they've rehearsed so often, they genuinely believe them. Nietzsche understood self-deception not as evil, but as a defense mechanism, a way to keep functioning in a painful world. So, when someone's story doesn't quite add up, don't immediately assume they're trying to deceive you. Realize they've been deceiving themselves far longer. And that's what makes reading them possible, because the inconsistencies ultimately reveal the truth. Truth 6. Where someone feels superior, they are hiding inferiority. This is pure Nietzsche. He believed that outward displays of superiority are often overcompensation. If someone constantly reminds you of their accomplishments, they likely fear they are not enough. If someone puts others down casually, they're probably terrified of being overlooked. Real confidence doesn't need to compete, it just is. So, if someone needs to dominate, control, or constantly prove themselves, look deeper. Behind that throne, you'll often find a scared child wearing a crown, desperate for validation. You're probably starting to feel it now, a shift in how you perceive the world. You walk into a room, and suddenly, the patterns speak louder than the words. You see someone interrupting constantly and realize it might not be arrogance, but a deep-seated fear of being forgotten. You see someone post obsessively about happiness, and you sense it might be a cry for help. You're not reading minds, you're reading the mask. And Nietzsche has given you the flashlight. Part 2. The Roots of Behavior. In Part 1, we learned how people build personas to protect themselves. Now, in Part 2, we go deeper, exploring the fundamental forces and hidden pains that drive those behaviors, leading to those cracks in the mask. Nietzsche believed that the self is not a stable thing. It's a performance, a stitched-together role meant to survive the world. And the moment that performance is threatened, the truth leaks out. Truth 7. Most actions are driven by unconscious fear. Why does someone over-explain? Why do they dominate a conversation or disappear completely? Why do they say yes when they clearly mean no? The answer, more often than not, is fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, humiliation, or failure. Nietzsche understood that humans rarely act from pure desire. We act from a deep, often unconscious, fear of loss, loss of status, loss of love, loss of self-worth. So, when you want to read someone, stop focusing on what they say they want. Instead, ask yourself, what are they afraid of losing? That's where the deeper truth lives. Truth 8. When someone criticizes too much, it's projection. Next time someone constantly critiques others, listen closely. The man who mocks emotional people might be terrified of his own feelings. The woman who belittles others for their appearance might be locked in a secret war with her own reflection. Nietzsche said that judgment is almost never about the other, it's about the self. When you hear repeated criticisms, don't be distracted by the target. Instead, trace the line back to the speaker. What part of themselves are they trying to disown? Projection isn't just a defense mechanism, it's a confession. If you listen right, it tells you exactly where someone's pain lives. Truth 9. Guilt hides behind false confidence. There's a kind of person you've probably met, the one who seems overly sure of themselves, always in control, always composed. But watch long enough, and you'll see the tension in their jaw, the way they over-prepare, the defensiveness under pressure. Nietzsche observed this phenomenon in leaders, teachers, preachers, those who perform certainty because they are scared of being seen. When someone is chronically confident, look for the guilt they are trying to bury. Maybe it's something they regret, or a version of themselves they are trying to prove wrong. Real peace doesn't perform. So, when someone seems too confident, don't be intimidated. Be curious. Truth 10. People betray themselves through exaggeration. This one is subtle but powerful. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Someone who constantly says, "I don't care what anyone thinks," likely cares deeply. Someone who claims, "I'm always happy," likely isn't. Exaggeration is a tell. It's the ego trying to drown out doubt. Nietzsche believed that extremism in any direction is a form of imbalance, not strength. So, when someone's statements sound too absolute, don't believe the content. Read the insecurity underneath. Exaggeration is volume. The question is, what are they trying to silence? Truth 11. Those who seek control often fear inner chaos. We seek control everywhere, in our jobs, our relationships, our routines. But some people crave it to the point of obsession. And that's a significant sign. Nietzsche saw this clearly. When the inner world is disordered, the outer world must be managed obsessively. If someone micromanages every detail, if they can't handle change, if they dominate people to feel powerful, it's not because they are strong. It's because something inside them feels deeply out of control. So, instead of fearing the controlling person, see them for what they are, someone terrified that the moment they let go, it will all fall apart. The stricter the outer shell, the more fragile the inner self. Truth 12. The louder the performance, the emptier the core. This is one of Nietzsche's most haunting insights, and it applies more today than ever. Look at social media, the endless look-at-me energy, the perfect poses, the constant updates, the curated identity. Nietzsche didn't see this as strength, he saw it as desperation. When someone is constantly performing, it's because they don't believe they'll be seen or loved without it. So, they create noise, color, drama. But the person who truly knows themselves doesn't need to be watched. They are already whole. So, when someone's life looks like a performance, remember this: it's not a show of power, it's a whisper of need. You're not just observing now, you're discerning. This isn't just a skill, it's a responsibility. Because once you learn to see people clearly, you can't unsee it. And you'll begin to understand that most people are suffering quietly behind polished smiles. Reading them isn't about gaining leverage, it's about offering grace. When you see the child behind the critic, the fear behind the bully, the guilt behind the arrogance, you don't become weaker. You become unshakable. Part 3. The Soul Revealed. By now, something in you has shifted. You don't just see people, you read them, not as villains, not as victims, but as humans trying to survive with masks they didn't even choose. But we're not done yet. Because behind every behavior is a belief, and behind every belief is a wound. This final part is about learning to recognize the soul, the deep story that hides underneath the surface of everyone you meet. Nietzsche didn't just expose people's patterns, he illuminated where those patterns come from. Let's finish what we started. Truth 13. No one speaks from logic, they speak from pain. You might think that people are rational, that they argue based on facts, make decisions based on reason. But Nietzsche believed otherwise. He believed that underneath every logical argument is an emotional wound. A person might say, "I don't believe in love, it's just a fantasy." But listen closely, they're not stating a fact, they're protecting a pain. People form their views based on what hurt them, then justify those views with logic. So, when you want to understand someone's worldview, don't just ask what they believe. Ask what broke them. Ask what scared them. Ask what they never want to feel again. This changes everything. It shifts your focus from "why are they saying this?" to "what are they afraid of repeating?" And suddenly, their opinions aren't threats, they're defenses. Their arguments aren't attacks, they are shields. And when you see that, you stop reacting. You start understanding. Truth 14. How someone reacts to weakness reveals their power. Want to truly see someone's character? Don't watch how they treat powerful people. Watch how they treat someone who can't fight back. Nietzsche believed that real strength isn't proven through domination, it's revealed through restraint. If someone mocks vulnerability, they're afraid of their own. If someone punishes mistakes, they likely weren't allowed to make any themselves. If someone always wins but leaves others bleeding, they're still at war with themselves. But the person who can witness weakness without judgment, who can sit with sadness without running away, who can forgive what they could have punished, that's someone who is no longer ruled by the past. They don't need to prove anything, because they've already won the inner war. So, if you want to read someone, give them a moment where compassion is an option. What they do in that moment will show you who they truly are, not just who they pretend to be. Truth 15. When someone fears being forgotten, they chase attention. Ever met someone who always needs to be seen? Every room they enter, every story they tell, every outfit they wear screams, "Notice me." At first glance, it looks like confidence. But Nietzsche saw through it. He believed that the hunger for attention often comes from a deeper fear. The fear of being invisible, of being erased, of living and dying without leaving a mark. So, people create noise not because they love it, but because they can't bear the silence. The child who was ignored becomes the adult who overcompensates. And instead of asking for love directly, they demand it indirectly through performance, drama, or chaos. So, when you see someone who's too much, don't be quick to judge. Ask what they are afraid will happen if they are not enough. Because sometimes, attention isn't vanity, it's a cry. Truth 16. The person they attack is often the person they envy. One of Nietzsche's boldest truths, and one of the hardest to admit, is this: people don't always attack because they hate. They often attack because they admire, but feel they can never be like the other person. Criticism is easier than admiration. So, the person who tears down someone successful, who mocks someone confident, who gossips about someone free, isn't just mean. They're in pain. Because to see someone embody a part of you that you've abandoned is to be reminded of what you've lost. So, instead of celebrating the other, we try to destroy them. But envy is just unspoken desire. It's the soul saying, "I want that too, but I don't believe I'm allowed." If you can see this in others, you become immune to petty hate. If you can see this in yourself, you become free. Truth 17. People act out their childhood, not their beliefs. You've heard it said, people don't change. But Nietzsche would say, people repeat. They repeat the roles they were forced to play, the fears they were taught to carry, the dynamics they never escaped. A person who was never heard becomes someone who never listens. A person punished for expressing emotions becomes cold, logical, detached. A person who had to earn love becomes someone who performs for affection, even when it's toxic. They think they are acting from beliefs, but really, they are just reenacting the past. So, if you want to read someone, don't just look at who they are now. Ask who they had to be then. Because behavior is just biography, and behind every adult is a child still waiting to feel safe. Truth 18. Their patterns are a confession if you know how to listen. This is the final truth, and it changes everything. People don't always know how to express what hurts, but they will show you again and again through their patterns. A person who ghosts when things get close. A person who overworks to avoid stillness. A person who flirts with everyone but connects with no one. These aren't random behaviors. They are confessions. They are saying, this is how I protect myself. They are saying, this is where I was hurt. They are saying, this is what I fear repeating. Nietzsche believed that if you learn to listen deeply, not to words, but to patterns, you can hear the truth before it's spoken. And when you do, something amazing happens. You stop personalizing. You stop judging. You start understanding. You become a mirror, not a weapon. You become someone who sees and still chooses grace. And that, more than any tactic or trick, is what makes you truly powerful. You're not just reading people, you're remembering yourself. 5. Conflict and tension. The central conflict driving this understanding is the tension between the persona people present and the hidden truths they carry. Every person you meet is navigating an internal battle, a conflict between their desire to be seen and their fear of vulnerability. This creates constant, subtle tension. Think of it, the need to control, Truth 11, stems from a deep fear of inner chaos. The loud performance, Truth 12, is a desperate attempt to fill an emptiness. These aren't just observations, they are insights into the very real, often painful, conflicts raging within individuals. The dramatic irony for the viewer is seeing these conflicts play out, often without the person themselves being fully aware. The tension also lies in your journey. It's the uncomfortable realization that you might have been fooled, or that you might have misunderstood someone completely. But this tension resolves into a powerful new awareness, replacing confusion with clarity and judgment with empathy. The conflict isn't external, it's the internal struggle of coming to terms with the complexity of human nature, both in others and in yourself. 6. Pacing and rhythm. We've structured this video to guide you gradually. Each truth is presented clearly, with time to absorb its meaning, before building on the next. Short, punchy sentences are used for impact, while longer, more reflective passages allow for deeper consideration. We'll use moments of silence for emphasis, giving you space to reflect on the weight of a particular truth. The rhythm will build from the initial cracks to the deeper roots, culminating in the profound soul-level understanding. This deliberate pacing is designed to prevent information overload, allowing each truth to sink in and become part of your new way of seeing. 7. Authentic and impactful dialogue. My goal isn't to lecture, but to guide. The language is chosen to be clear, avoiding jargon where possible, and using analogies, like the mask, the mirror, the flashlight, to make abstract concepts tangible. Each statement is crafted to directly reveal character and advance your understanding. Instead of saying, people engage in behaviors stemming from insecurity, we say, where someone feels superior, they are hiding inferiority. This is more impactful, more memorable. We focus on showing, not telling, by describing observable behaviors and then immediately connecting them to the underlying Nietzschean truth. The dialogue aims to be not just informative, but transformative, sparking aha moments. 8. Emotional resonance. This journey isn't just intellectual, it's deeply emotional. As you learn to see the fear behind the mask, the pain behind the logic, the loneliness behind the performance, you will inevitably feel a profound sense of empathy. The video is designed to make you feel connected to the human experience, recognizing universal struggles. When you understand that no one speaks from logic, they speak from pain, you move past frustration and into compassion. When you realize that the person they attack is often the person they envy, you see the hidden longing, not just the outward hostility. This journey aims to shift your emotional response from judgment to understanding, from anger to grace. It's about building a deeper, more meaningful connection with humanity, including yourself. 9. Theme or message. The core theme weaving through all 18 truths is this: the truth is always leaking out, if you know how to read the signs. It's about moving beyond superficial interactions to a deeper, more authentic understanding of yourself and others. The message is one of awakening to the subtle language of human behavior, to the universality of fear and self-preservation, and ultimately to the profound potential for compassion. It's about recognizing that every mask, every defense, every pattern is a story, a confession, a silent plea. 10. Satisfying ending. Now, breathe. Let everything we've explored sit with you for a moment. Each truth in this video wasn't just an observation about the world, it was a key. A key to understanding the people around you, yes. But more importantly, a key to unlocking the parts of yourself that often remain hidden in plain sight. Because the truth is, when we look closely at others, their habits, their wounds, their contradictions, we're really tracing the outlines of our own reflection. Every pattern you saw in someone else lives somewhere inside of you. Every behavior you've judged, every flaw you've laughed at, every lie you've spotted in someone else's mask, they all whisper something about you. About the fears you carry, the stories you were told, the identity you've been building, defending, and protecting for as long as you've been alive. This video might have felt like it was about other people, but it never was. It was always about you. You, the child who learned to please just to feel safe. You, the teenager who built walls instead of asking for help. You, the adult still trying to make sense of it all, still wearing masks, still seeking approval, still wondering if you're too much or never enough. And here's the hardest truth of all: we see the world not as it is, but as we are. When Nietzsche said, "He who fights with monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster," he wasn't warning us about others. He was warning us about ourselves. Because sometimes the monsters we fear out there are shadows of the ones we carry within. But that's not the end of the story. This isn't where your journey stops. This is where it begins. Because once you become aware, truly aware, of your own patterns, your own scripts, your own role in the story, you reclaim something powerful: choice. The choice to stop running. The choice to stop pretending. The choice to look into the mirror and say, "I see you. I know where you come from. But you don't control me anymore." You get to decide who you become next. And that's what makes this moment so important. If something in this video cracked something open inside you, even just a little, don't ignore it. Let it change you. This isn't just another video. It's a conversation, a connection, a wake-up call. If something in here made you feel seen, comment below. Which of the 18 truths hit you the hardest? What part of yourself did you meet for the first time? Don't be afraid to be honest. Because honesty is how we start to peel off the layers, one by one, until something real is left standing. And if this resonated with you, if it stirred something inside you didn't know was there, subscribe. Not just for more content, but for more moments like this, more glimpses into the truth, more reminders that you're not alone in feeling what you feel. This is just the beginning. You've spent years surviving behind a mask. Now, it's time to live without one. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. You're not broken. You're becoming. So stay with us. Keep watching. Keep questioning. Keep awakening. And remember, you're not here to escape reality. You're here to finally face it and rise. Let's keep going.